So welcome to Challenge the Road. We're going to do a little discussion with you on hybrid and electric. The journey I done at the weekend, this Q5, which I think is still a fabulous car, my hybrid Range Rover, and let's just have a chat about it, go through what we think. So when I went to Twickenham before for the rugby, obviously I took the electric car, and I had quite a lot of problems because I run out of range. Now, I had a little workout this morning. I thought I'd do a few calculations on this because I really want to know. So I went to the rugby again. I probably shouldn't have gone, but England v France, it wasn't the best game. And I thought, well, let's just try and measure the differences so we really know real world what's going on. So when I went to Twickenham the first time, I had 200 miles of electric range. And to get to Twickenham is about 130 miles. So let's just say 65 miles each way. Now, I didn't make it. I got to Lamberhurst and it went into this turtle mode, 15 mile an hour. Bloody dangerous, I'll tell you that now. Because when I go around bends, I'm doing 15 mile an hour. So if someone's coming behind, I thought they're going to hit me up the back here. So I had to try and actually divert my route and also think about not going up hills as well, because I thought that could be a problem. But anyway, I made it, but in real terms, it took me, I think for 2 miles, it was something like 25 minutes to get home. I was literally just going at a snail's pace, or turtles, whatever's coming up on the screen. So I really wanted to get back in, drive the hybrid Range Rover and just see how I feel. And to tell the truth, I had a cracking day, no hassle, no anxiety. Now, I remember going up in the fully electric and thinking, I've got loads of miles, but if you've got like 200 miles, when you go on a motorway, it's going to deduct by about a third. So I thought, right, so I've got 140 and it's 130, so I should be okay. But the conditions and that on the day, also we were running a little bit behind, so I had to go sort of 70 mile an hour. And that's the other thing, if you're on the motorway at the moment, when you see slow cars, they're all electric ones, because everyone's there doing 50, trying to save battery, whether it's Teslas, whether it is. So even though they're so quick, over time, when you get low, you can't go quick at all. So, you know, for me, like, you know, picking up the kids from school, they won't be there dead on time. Otherwise, the phone's going, messages, phone calls, where are you, where are you? Everyone knows what that's like. So I didn't want that. You know, I have to go super, super slow to get there because I'm worried about the battery. So let's go back to Twickenham and let's analyse what happened. So 200 miles range, 130, didn't make it. So now, if you remember going back in the day, when you had a fuel gauge and stuff, you used to think, you know what, I'll make that work. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make it work. And you might get a little bit more here and you sort of cruise and you use the clutch and all this stuff. How many times did you actually run out? Now, I don't remember actually ever running out of fuel. But with electric, you don't have that. It just runs as it runs. So you can't manipulate anything to get there, like, I don't know, coasting down a hill that we used to do. All this stuff to gain more miles. You are stuffed, basically. So anyway, I went up in the hybrid, had a great day, didn't have any anxiety, didn't have any worries. And I lost, I think I started with 255 miles on the clock, using a bit of battery. I think I had 10 miles of battery and the rest was on the petrol engine. I mean, this is a big car, this Range Rover as well I was in. Now, I ended up losing 110 on the gauge. So for a 130 mile journey, I was actually better off, because when you get on the motorway, the petrol engine is the most efficient way of driving, or a diesel. They're the most efficient by miles, not just by a little bit, by miles. As you know, you do a nice journey, you cruise along, and your mileage is going to go up on your MPG. In an electric car, it's just going to go down. And so I wanted to just get that out there and say that if you're buying an electric car now, I mean, I wanted to do it, save the planet, yeah, all for that, fine. But the actual restrictions are too far. It's a bit like buying a mobile phone and it's only got 2 hours battery life. That's what it's like. So all the time you're thinking, need to charge that soon. If you remember the old days when the iPhones were out, and you used to think, I haven't got much battery, and you'd move from a BlackBerry. And when you had the BlackBerry, you knew you had that, like, however many days a BlackBerry would last, loads, wouldn't it? So that's what it feels like. So you've got to be really conscious. If you're making your decision now, I wouldn't go for the electric. You might in your mind think, yeah, should do that, but I think it's going to compromise everything you do. Next bit, obviously we've been running the Q5, we've been running the Range Rover, I had the Golf GTE, which was another great car. So looking at these hybrids, where they are, this Q5, and it has to be a 2019, 2020 model without touchscreen, because it's much better. Like, my wife doesn't want to change this car for the world now because she's got hybrid here. Everything down here works on the buttons. When you have all these interfaces, you have to go in this, to go to this, to go to this. And the only way I've found of getting round it is to use voice control. The problem is you say, ring Scott, and it rings Dan, and so that's what you're going to get. You're going to have that frustration. But this Q5 in this model year, I think was best of the best. And I've had the newer one with the touchscreen. It's not as good as this. I had a little look round, and there's more of these for sale now. When I had, bought this, there was hardly any. They have held their money exceptionally well. The Range Rover hybrid, I am getting on a bit better with that. So I did struggle with lots of little bits, and there is a video on that. But actually, it's sort of growing on me even more, the Range Rover, and I'm getting round all what I call the niggles. So by using voice control more, I'm not having to use the lights as much because it's getting lighter in England. You're using them all the time, and I found the automatic lights maybe not the best, nowhere near as good as these Audis. These Audis are just top of the tree. So that was just like a quick update, really, just to go through electric and hybrid. If you're making your first choice, I just wouldn't go full electric. I feel like we're the guinea pigs, and where are those cars going to be in a few years' time? I'm not so sure. I've heard the tech is moving ever so fast, and they're going to be looking at, like, I don't know, half an hour charge, 500 miles. That's where it needs to be. And I think if that happens, a lot of these electric cars that people are buying now, people aren't going to buy because they're going to take too long to charge and not give you enough range. And if it could be like that, if it could be nearer to filling up at a petrol station, which most of the time doesn't take that long, it's not a massive inconvenience, I would probably maybe be in then if I can get that much from them. But I say at the moment, I think that the technology is very, very early days, and I think you've got to be very careful what you buy. Hybrid wise, the Golf GT is still, to me, the best. I think the Golf as a car is fantastic. The mid-range, I think you've got some nice Kias there. You've got the Q5s, lots of really good hybrids there. And then in the top of the range, sort of luxury stuff, you've got the Range Rovers. You've got with 70 miles now. That's really good. But you've got the X5s. Lots of good second-hand buys there as well. I don't think you have to go and always buy new, or I don't. But, if you look at the Range Rover I bought, it sort of lost 50,000 in value in sort of 2.5 years. They're the ones to buy, really. They've lost their money. You can drive them, enjoy them. That's a quick update, electric and hybrid. I'm going to keep these going sort of every couple of months. I'll put out some more bits on the cars, how they're going, how they're feeling, what this real world scene is with these cars. But if I was you, I would get a hybrid. So see you soon. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we got more content coming soon.